Is my screen visible?
Sir,
Okay, okay. So we were discussing about agile manufacturing. So basically, agile manufacturing was same is working in the same concept of lean manufacturing, wherein waste are neglected. However, due to the change in technology and the consumers' change in attraction, we are fastly producing or flexibly producing to compete with other industries or other competitors in the industrial field. So, such a manufacturing is known as agile manufacturing. So, why do we prefer agile manufacturing? So, basically, three types: consumer love choice, consumers love instant gratification, and consumers are fickle. So, what are these 3 points? So, consumers love choice. So, one of the reasons why we choose agile manufacturing is that consumers love choice. They prefer to get a product exactly as they want it without compromise. Okay, that is their demand. So, I have already told you under lean manufacturing, wherein we will always get the feedback of the consumer, and according to the demand or according to the objectives stated from that demand, only we will produce the product. In the same manner, in agile manufacturing also, we will obtain customer feedback, and according to their desire, only we will produce the product and exactly as they want it. So their function is limited to consumers. So according to the consumer only, we are producing the products, and we have to produce it as fast as possible. So we have to please the consumers. So that is why consumers love instant gratification. So they are increasingly getting used to it, and they are often willing to pay for it. So if you are giving this product that they love due to choice, or they prefer the product which for which their function satisfies, then they love that. So they will get it again and again depending upon the product that is being used. If it is cutlery items that is being used for chopping up foods or eating food, and one of the companies they like uh, and provide the functions required on their basis, then the consumers obviously will prefer that products. So that is what is coming under consumers love instant gratification. Next, consumers are fickle. So what are consumers are fickle? Their interests shift and move in an unpredictable way. So one of the problems with the consumer, or it's not a problem, it's a trend that we see in consumers, is that if a gimmick is being released in an industry or a technology that has attractive capabilities, then consumers obviously tend to go into that field. Okay, that is the gimmick that a company produces or an industry produces to attract a consumer to their product. So that is the problem. So that is what is known as the interest shift that is mentioned here. Okay, so it is in an unpredictable way. So if a consumer looks at a product that has a similar function than the product they are buying, and has more attractive and technological shape that they attain, then they will obviously buy that other product. So the demand that we have had from that customer in our company will be shifted to another company. So that is why we are preferring agile manufacturing. So under agile manufacturing, if such a technology is being made or is already introduced, then immediately all conception of the product of the old type will be stopped, and the new type will be fastly implemented in a product so as to raise the demand of the customers, or keep the demand alive of the previous customers itself. So that is why we prefer agile manufacturing. Next, some of the key manufacturing elements in agile manufacturing is four types: modular product design, information technology, corporate partners, and then comes knowledge culture. So these are some of the key elements in agile manufacturing. So we'll look at each and every one of them. So the first one is modular product design. So designing products in a modular fashion that enables them to serve as platforms for fast and easy variations. So whenever we are building a product, there will be a base product always present. So I have already told you, in agile manufacturing, only technological aspects or technological updation is being done under agile manufacturing. So a base product is always present in the product design. So that is what is they have been mentioned here. So they will serve as platforms. So the old design, not completely finished, but the raw form. So it will be designed in a raw form and then it will be finished into the final product. So that is how it is being done. So before finishing it, after making it, we are adding the technological improvement or the aspect or the gimmick into the product at that stage. So always a platform of the previous product will be available. So this will determine the fast and easy variation. So we can immediately and fastly make a design change into the product. Next is information technology. So under information technology, automating the rapid dissemination of information throughout the company to enable lightning fast response to orders. So nowadays we are coming under the Jidoka technique we have mentioned earlier, that is complete automation. So complete automation is required because it provides uh, huge accuracy along with error free creating. Okay, there will be no errors, and in case errors are there, uh, we can rectify it. And machines never run tired, right, like humans. So the work productivity will be always constant, provided that preventive maintenance is done on these equipments, and it replaces in the future. Maybe it may replace the industrial worker labors uh, to complete automated systems. So such an automated system never feels fatigue like a human does. So always we will obtain products at a faster rate, and this automation is done by applying the information technology. So information technology in the sense that any changes in the market, etc., can be obtained through net. Nowadays, we are familiar with all the internet activities, and any technological updates can be even observed in the net. And such a information once obtained, we will implement the various designs or procedures that has to be um, carried out to be done in the manufacturing system. But if such a change is immediately done in an industry with human personals, it will take some time for the human personals to implement it into the product. I meant about the time. Okay. So a skilled labor at a particular type of job, once a new job is introduced, similar to the old one, but an updation. So they are already in the previous mode, right? So this further updation immediately into that product design will hinder their operation speed. So that will affect the productivity rate. So if you are automating that industry, any such rapid change can be directly implemented into the system so that this automation carries it out without any delay. So that is the importance of information technology, and it will be only applicable for automated running industries. That is so that is what they have mentioned, the point about lightning fast response. So it can only be possible in an automated type of company. Next, corporate partners. Creating virtual short-term alliances with other companies that enable improved time to market for selected product segments. Now we are talking about agile manufacturing, and agile manufacturing always involve faster speed production cycles. So during that faster speed production cycles, we don't have any time to build something from the ground up. Ground up means it must always have something of element already present. Maybe we have to only do the assembling job. So if you are not doing the first processes and also such as deciding the product, after deciding you have to get approved, after approving we'll make a prototype, then testing then goes for a beta version to the consumers. After the updates feedback from the consumers, we'll then produce the final product, which is then packed and sent to the market. So this is the natural manufacturing process, but we don't have such a sufficient time during agile manufacturing. So what happens is that by creating virtual short-term alliances, we are creating short-term alliances for with one objective in mind, nothing but concurrent engineering. So we have already studied concurrent engineering, and it is basically based on subcontracting. So what is subcontracting? We are making a product, and various components in the product may be present in the product. However, we don't have to build all the components. We are assigning the construction of single or multiple components, and that will be given to other companies. And basically here in the case of agile manufacturing, those companies are nothing but our corporate partners. So that is the objective here. We have to make them produce the components so that we can attain or improve the product based on that particular period of time. So as fast as possible we can implement it by these corporate partners. Next is knowledge culture. So what our culture is investing in employee training to achieve a culture that supports rapid change and ongoing adaptation. So we are investing in employee training. So that is the next step. So in agile manufacturing, uh, we are already in automated system. We are using information technology and we are producing the products as fast as possible. And first group of orders, or first, to keep the demand alive, the first orders will be to the consumers that have been attracted to that gimmick. So they have to be satisfied, or their demand should be satisfied. And for that purpose, this automated technology, using the automated technology, the products from that technology will be first batch will be sent to the first group of consumers. Following, we have basically nowadays we have human personal industries more. Okay, so we have to apply this change that we have occurred to the employee itself, so that they will also be catching up, or they will catch up to the technology that is being invented. So we can't completely rely on the automated technology. So for that we have to have a training program for the employees, and such rapid change will be supported in the employee training program, where in the during the training program the employee gets skilled in doing the work necessary for that competition. Okay, so the rest of the work will be done in both automated and human personnel. So human personnel is present, but human personnel and automated technology is synchronized here. Okay, so that is how agile manufacturing works. Give me a minute. Okay. Next is the framework of agile manufacturing. So this AM means agile manufacturing. LM was lean manufacturing. So this is the basic framework of agile manufacturing. So you can see here what are the achievements here, the leadership support, and the points that we are discussing. Some of the characteristics we were discussing were here. You can see. First one is information technology, that is the IT field, wherein we will obtain the details from the internet or any other sources, and then we are implementing it to uh, our automated technology. Then comes concurring and engineering, wherein subcontracting, etc., will be done, and for that purpose, only due to that subcontracting, we are achieving agile manufacturing. Then innovation. So the innovation field that is obtained from information technology or the technological advances comes under innovation, and this is then given to the agile manufacturing. So there is a leadership support here. Okay, this support is the reason why these orders are going into agile manufacturing. So they will identify the changes in the market, and this is then transferred to the agile manufacturing system, or they are designing the agile manufacturing system based on these factors. So based on these factors, so they will be giving some components that has to be created under concurrent engineering. Then first batch of products has to be created, and those are given through the automated technology. Then the technological advance is then added to the agile manufacturing system. Then the issues, customer related issues based on that product is also maybe the previously uh, the waste product may clarify always to make the competition alive, and for that purpose they are always sending the product without any further or prior testing. So any so we know that always a product may show some form of defects, and these defects are, sorry, not defects, some problems, and these problems or feedbacks are collected from this first batch of consumers so as to understand what is the problem and then fix the product. So before, if you are going for that fixing time, the competition will be gone to another company, and that must not happen. And for that purpose only, the testing is avoided and it is directly given to the customer. So that comes under the feedback section, comes under customer related. Then comes supplier related issues. So supplier face the problems faced by the supplier, maybe the market, maybe during transportation, etc. So a feedback, another type of feedback, and this also is obtained from the leadership support, and this is then implemented again into the agile manufacturing. Then organizational cultural related issues. So this is about the 5S systems and various systems that is present in the manufacturing system in the industry, and these cultures are then, after all this, we are then creating a work profile or creating another standardized method for further implementation of the technology into the industry on basis of the manpower. So human aspects, so increase in the human related technological advance is what is mentioned under organizational culture related issues. Then human resources related issues, what are the problems faced by the personnel itself for doing such a problem, and they are upon collection of all these data, we are achieving various goals. So some of the goals are customer related achievements, so that will be their function or their gimmick they require, or the as they are getting a product as much as their choice itself. So these are all customer related achievements. Then financial achievements, so we are obtaining the profit or by keeping the demand alive, obviously the first products will be very costing very much high price, and this will incur more capital into the production. So one of the problems is that the profit will not be that because implementing a technology as fast as possible, we are not standardizing or optimizing the procedure, right? So we are only bothered about finishing the product. So we are not optimizing it. Hence, always the cost incurred during that manufacturing time will be expensive, and it will. That is why the value of the product is always high under the first batch of production. So they are not sure if it is going to be sold completely, but they are only creating a few batches and they will be sending it at a higher price. So due to the high cost of production itself, they are sending the product for a higher price or a higher MRP in the market. And when they obtain the cash or the value from that product, it will not be as big as a profit than an optimized system. So after attaining various profits, they will then go into the standardizing of the principle for human labor related works, and then only they will attain huge profits. Then business related achievements. Business related achievements comes under concurrent engineering. So due to the corporate partnership between various companies for component productions, etc., business related achievements are obtained. Maybe the exposure of the company to the industrial world or etc. comes under business related achievements. Then comes operational achievements. So operational achievements are obtained after standardizing the procedure in the industry. After standardizing it, we will obtain an optimized technique for the production process, and such once that is attained, then various operational achievements are attained in the manufacturing system. Then comes employee related achievements. So employee related achievements, I have already told you about employee of the month, etc. So that will increase the morale of the rest of the employees, and that is the function of employee related achievements. And the last one is supplier related achievements. So supplier related achievements are achieved only if more number of products are being sent to the market. If that is happening, that means the demand is alive and well, and that will determine future profits. And if such a thing is happening, then we will be saying that supplier related achievements are done. So this is the basic framework of AM. Next is the characteristics of agile manufacturing. So these are some of the characteristics of agile manufacturing. We'll be discussing each and every one of them. So the first one is agile development releases and fixed length iterations. So what is basically that one? So agile development releases discuss nothing but the software development is mentioned here. That is nothing but we have to release the products as fast as possible. So during that process, we will be eliminating various procedures that is already present under the traditional manufacturing system. So due to that elimination, the initial products that we produce may or may not be as perfect as possible. Okay, so sometimes it may be a defective product. It may not have or will not perform that particular function. So additional additional changes will be done. No time for research can be spent, and hence uh, newer changes will be done. Slight changes itself, and each time the slight changes is changed and changed, and until you attain the sufficient function, the uh, changes is being given. So that is what is known as iteration. So iterations is successive calculation. So we are changing the aspect or the we are introducing the technological change, and initially the product may not accept that change. That means the product may fail or it may not function as the function stated by the customer. So if that happens, the, instead of sending it to a research team, and the research team takes some time, right? So this time is reduced by improving the change at a slight angle. So maybe it may be the angle, maybe the inclination of the product, or it may be the finishing of the product, anything, it depends. So uh, each aspect is changed at a small value, to a small value is being changed, and this changes constitute iterations. So nowadays, these iterations are carried in the basis of software. Now, directly we are not building the products and doing it. Now, softwares are helping us do these options, and this will further help us in uh, developing the agile manufacturing system much faster than possible. Okay. Next, features, defects, enhancement requests, other work items are organized, estimated, prioritized, and then assigned to a release. So some features may be there. Then defects. Defects obviously will happen due to the faster agile developing system. Then enhancement request, other work items are organized, estimated, prioritized, and then assigned to a release. So things like that. But all these are satisfied after a satisfied product is produced by the industry. Only then they will make a release. So that comes under agile development. Next comes value driven development. So we'll look at what is value driven development. Agile development methods focus solely on delivering value early. So that is the main point here. We have to supply or deliver the value early and continuously. We have to ensure it must run continuously. So if you had to make it run continuously, first order must be catched, or you must send the value early. Only if you make the product reach the consumer early, then you can make a continuous development, or you can go for a continuous production, and which are then measured through running tested software. Okay, software is analyzing our value driven, or the delivering of the value and the production continuously. So the predictions are done by the software itself. This requires that the team focuses on production features as a main unit of planning, tracking, and delivery. So the main unit of the production feature is that uh, they have to, they will be planning, tracking the delivery of the products. So I have already mentioned the first batch, right? So the first batch is being sent, and they will plan how many products has to be sent. They will be tracking the products by means of feedback, or any errors that can obtain, and then the delivery comes after the feedback, and then during the continuous cycle or the continuous production, only then the delivery is being done. Next, from each week to each iteration, the team tracks features that are running, tested, and being delivered. So um, iteration we have already discussed earlier about the multiple times the changes being done, and after the changes being done, uh, uh, changes being done, it is then tested after being delivered. It is tested after being delivered based on the feedback of the customer. So it is a value driven development, right? So value driven. So the value is driven basically by these procedures: planning, tracking, and delivery. So always the value will be high due to the first batch of agile development products. Then they may also require documents and other artifacts, but working features are paramount. It is essential to obtain documents and other artifacts in the sense components, but always the working features are paramount. Working features means the first uh, the function of the agile manufactured product must always be performed before carrying out all that operations, but it will be better if the documents and the components have arrived, so it will always help. Okay, this in turn requires that each feature is small enough to be delivered in a single iteration. So the feature here that is mentioned is nothing but the small changes, as I have mentioned earlier. So we are giving small changes to the component, so that, sorry, to the product to attain that particular function. So each feature should be small enough. So it must be very small so that that change can be measurable, and according to that change only we can uh, produce the sufficient functioning product. So a big enough change in the feature is undesirable, because if you make such a big enough change, uh, there is we will obtain um, a huge difference. So we can't estimate where the problem occurred or what rate of change can affect the or give us the required function of that product. And that is why in a single iteration we are only giving small changes. Okay, next we will have continuous planning. Under agile manufacturing there is always continuous planning, so it is essential to have continuous planning. But in agile manufacturing always there is continuous planning. This is because after the production of the first batch of products, always we will be planning ahead, right? We will be getting that orders, after that we have to produce sufficient products, and this has to be this technological aspect has to be trained to the personnel, human personnel, and those personnel then will be responsible for the further production. So each and every aspects, including the profit, is being planned or continuously being planned by the agile manufacturing system. So you can see here how it is being planned: build, plan, continuous feedback, deploy the product, operate it, integration it into the to the technology, then continuous operation. Then again, this cycle always continues. So we are planning, always planning. So one of the problems that we occur in agile manufacturing is nothing but due to the rapid change of technology, each and every product that is produced during agile manufacturing has a shorter life cycle. So what is life cycle? The product has to be introduced in the market, then after the introduction people frequently request that product. After that the product will be stabilizing at a particular point for a particular period of time. After that it declines to a certain position, and further along the line it will nullify. So that is the product life cycle. So in agile manufacturing, the life cycle is shorter. That means these processes that I have mentioned earlier, from the introduction to its decline, will be much shorter, because new technologies replacing the old one is being introduced rapidly. And due to that rapid introduction, always the product life cycle will be very low. The old product will be disbanded or discarded, because the new one always trumps the old one. So that is the problem. So due to that we are always continuously planning. We have to continuously plan in order to attain such developmental features to keep the demand alive. Okay, we'll discuss one more point, that is the multi-level planning. That is another characteristic of agile. So continuous planning, I have already mentioned, it involves always planning ahead of each and every aspects, so that we will keep the demand alive. But in multi-level planning, we are identifying and prioritizing the features. Okay, in the planning section, we are completely planning ahead, and next we are prioritizing which part will be the most responsible for in this planning process. So basically, the most responsible for the planning process is obviously the technology that is being introduced. So that technological aspect or that change is the reason why this planning, continuous planning has to be done, or that is the reason why agile manufacturing exists. Okay, and to give it may not be a technological aspect, that change, okay, change in the terms of a gimmick or a design or even the technological aspect. Uh, these all are involved in the planning of agile manufacturing, and we are prioritizing each and every one of them. So the technological aspect is given a value more higher than rest of the processes, as in the case of a value stream mapping. So we have seen about value stream mapping, and it is in the same manner. Multi-level planning is in the same manner as that, wherein we will plan ahead, and we are prioritizing each and every operations. So that is also another characteristics of agile manufacturing. So we have one more characteristics, and okay, we'll discuss the rest in the next class.